So this morning I was inspired to begin the conversation that I've been wanting to have. I first wanted to gather just information and things like that before I really dove into fascial remodeling and the importance of it when it comes to sciatica. And frankly, like any major body pain that's been chronic. And like, what is chronic? So chronic is if it's been more than 6 weeks that you've been dealing with something. So I help and work with people that deal with chronic pain, especially chronic pain when it comes to the shoulders, the low back, and sometimes the legs, if a person's having neuropathy and things of that nature. So earlier on Clubhouse, I was talking about the fact that unhealthy fascia is contributing to sciatica. And how is that? So first of all, let's kind of take a step back. So what is fascia? So fascia is the connective tissue that is within our bodies. So it's surface level fascia, and then there's even deeper layers of fascia where it's like integrated into muscle tissue and organ tissue. And I'm beginning to notice a pattern when it comes to working with people of certain ages, how their fascia responds versus other age groups. So, younger people. But I'm starting to be surprised at the amount of fascial restriction is in younger people. And it's beginning to make me wonder about when does fascial adhesion, when does fascial restriction begin? And it can actually begin in the womb. So fascia holds memory of things that our body has gone through or things that our body is going through and things of that nature. And so I was just talking about how when I'm working with somebody, especially if they have scars, they've had surgery because they've had some type of misalignment within either their joints or their bones, and so they've opted for surgery. And they go through these surgeries, but then the healing of the fascia is ignored many times within the medical field. They don't let you guys know that you need lymphatic work, because if you get lymphatic work done before your surgery and also after your surgery, then your likelihood of that scar turning into a pinned down, glued down area is less likely, because lymphatics begins to help remodel by reminding the fluids which direction they are going. When it's organized surgery, which means, they cut in a straight line and it's usually just within that area and then they sew it back up. That is an organized injury. And, it's interesting that I don't think they take it into consideration in the healing process that yes, you do need some type of body work, because later down the line, that scar is and can contribute to some type of pain or some type of illness that might arise. So why would you need lymphatic work? Because your lymphatic system is the garbage disposal system of the body. And so if you help to clear that, then it helps to keep, the likelihood of infections and things like that, like on your end of things. Of course, the hospital has to make sure things are sanitized and clean to make sure of that. But just looking at your body and considering that, let me turn that off. So yeah, it was very interesting. I had a fellow Condor coach join in, and we were talking about that. We also brought up LifeWave because LifeWave is the latest technology in stem cell research and stem cell availability. So instead of paying thousands upon thousands of dollars for stem cell injections with the uncertainty if it's going to work, the unsafety of it working, because they have to do all kinds of things to it before they can introduce it to your body, and it doesn't make sense. It's like, why don't you just activate your own stem cells? Because they're they're already coded to you, they're already in your body. You simply have to activate them. Now, how long is it going to take to activate your stem cells, right? So that has a lot of different answers because everyone is different. Your time frame is not going to be the same as my time frame. So I have been utilizing the LifeWave patches for over a year. I'm actually coming up on 2 years when I think about it, in I believe it's April or May. And I'm ready now to really share my experience because I wanted to have an honest opinion. I wanted to give it an actual, 12 months going through different things in my life. How are these patches helping? What am I, noticing? What am I learning about myself? And I will say, like, I'm at the point where, I don't necessarily need them every single day. Like, my body will kind of let me know. And I have tried just about every patch that LifeWave has. The only ones I haven't tried right now are the Alveda, which is the one for the skin. And I'm actually looking at trying that coming up in January. I'm kind of planning on putting an order in for that. But what I was really looking for was help in pain relief, also help in cellular healing, because as I've been working with different people, working with different body types, body shapes, body com- compositions, I've come to learn that everyone needs some level of cellular healing. And whether that's in the digestive system, whether that's in the, urinary system, like whether that's in the circulatory system, the effectiveness of it is what I started to notice just right off of the bat. And there's so many testimonials, like there's so many people with all of these things that we have become. Sorry, I had to make sure because I gotta head in a minute. But yes, I wanted to extend an invitation. So like, if you are dealing with chronic pain, if you're dealing with injuries that aren't quite healing, then reach out to me, because there's patches that can help in your healing process, right? As you're learning how to navigate your nutrition, how you're learning to navigate how you deal with situations, your emotions, and just everyday life. You know, there's a patch that helps and can actually change your life. Like that's one big thing. I feel like it has been life changing. It has aided me in being able to just navigate smoother, you know, and oh, another thing before I head out are the beef organs. So I'm not gonna quite like do a review on those quite yet, but I will say so far it's been fantastic. It hasn't been a month. It hasn't even been a month yet, and I'm noticing very good results. So, yep, I'm gonna head out here, and I will check you out on the next one. Peace.